Hi, well, I'm Terry Tivnan. I teach courses in research methods and statistics. I have students from all over the School of Education who take my courses, all of the different master's programs, and I have students from other parts of the university as well. It's one of the fun aspects of teaching courses like that. They're valuable for students from all different kinds of interests. And so over the years, I know how many students have taken advantage of the services that the Disability Services Office here provides to students. And they help students with all kinds of different issues, from students who have need to have special accommodations made in the classes. Usually that's easy in my course because I try to design the assignments and requirements for students to accommodate anyone's special needs. They're big. I teach big classes, so I've learned to be accommodating over the years. But aside from any special accommodations, there might be special features of special skills or resources that students need, from note-taking, people to help them with reading some of the material, people to provide extra assistance with different aspects of making the learning experiences really beneficial. And so I really rely on that office a lot. Sometimes in ways I probably don't know, because I know students are often wise enough to take advantage of the services there, and I might learn about them later or maybe not learn about it at all. But with many students over the years, I've learned that, wow, check with the people in disability services. They can help you with everything from short-term needs that you might have to longer-term supports, and it really is great. Some of the note-taking part of it has been great, so I know that's a big assistance to students. A couple of other things that I've built into the course that were probably motivated initially years ago by the desire to help some students with certain types of special learning needs. It's very common around the whole School of Education now to add video into courses, to video the lectures, and I've been doing that for years. We've been doing it in a number of the statistics classes for quite a while, and I'm proud of the fact that I was one of the first ones to do that at the school, make videos of the classes and then make them available to students. So I think that originated as a way to help some of the students with learning disabilities who wanted to be able to see the classes again at their own pace and be able to review things more carefully. Of course, that turned out to be one, and is now just one of the great valuable resources for students from all over the school, regardless of content. So building in videos into the classes, let's see, one of my teaching fellows who had a disability a few years ago, a visual disability, pushed me, was one of the people who pushed me to move toward more online submission of assignments, electronic submission of assignments and grading, because it was easier for her with her visual disability to be able to read students' papers and comment on them and give them back on a timely basis. Again, once we move to that now for all students, it's something everyone benefits from. It's much easier for all of the students. It's much easier for all of the teaching fellows. We give much more timely and consistent and higher quality feedback on the student assignments because of that. Those resources that we now make available to everybody. But again, I think some of the initial impetus toward that came from the needs of some of the students with different types of disabilities who needed to have different ways of being able to submit their material and get feedback. So anyway, the note-taking services for students, the videos, let's see, having some of the handouts in class available in different formats for students. I mean, now I just consider that routine. That there'll be PowerPoint slides, there'll be paper handouts. Everything will also be available through the course website. So that, again, all kinds of students can have access to all kinds of material that will help them in their learning. Again, those are things that initially might have been helpful for a few students with special needs, and they turn out to be just so beneficial for so many students that, again, I'm proud of the way we've built it into my courses and many of the other courses around here. Oh yeah, it's very simple. Again, I've known Eileen for years, so it's easy for me to, for the two of us to communicate. comfortably with students. And we trust each other that when things need to be, whenever something comes up that needs to be handled, that it'll be done in a really professional and helpful way with the students' needs at the top of the priority list for us. So it's always been very comfortable. What's been great about that office is how much outreach they'll provide, rather than just waiting for students to come in to see them or waiting for faculty to approach the office. They'll often take the initiative and let us know about students who might need accommodations, or even letting us know about accommodations we can make before they even get requested by the students. They'll think of new ideas, they'll hear about things, or they might pilot test things in some courses, and then they'll let me know about something that some other professor was doing in his or her course that was helpful for some students, or maybe all students, and it's something that then I can build into my course. So I think that office has been a great resource, again, not just for students with disabilities, but for all the students at the school, by helping to share ideas about what policies, procedures, strategies, and resources we can build into our courses to make them more effective. So. My attitude around that, when students need extra accommodations, especially around extra time, is that I've learned in teaching graduate students over the years. It's great teaching graduate students because they're so highly motivated. They're here because they want to be here. But they're adults. They have other demands on their time and in their lives. And so many students, and when you teach larger courses especially, every semester, every school year, there are going to be some crises that are going to occur for some students. There are going to be illnesses in their family. Many of the women here are mothers, and they're going to have child care responsibilities and things like that, that will, where they might need special accommodations for some kind. So I've learned over the years to just build in some flexibility and accommodations, trust that because I'm dealing with graduate students, they won't be abusing my generosity. They'll be taking advantage of that flexibility. And I always tell students, I'd rather have you take a little bit of extra time in the assignment so that you will be able to learn a little bit more. So I build that into all of my assignments and have made that a general policy for all the students. So I think any students who come up and say, gee, I need a little bit of extra time, I don't even ask them to explain it unless they want to, because I think I can make that accommodation available to anyone who needs it. And so I hope that makes the students with so let's say special learning disabilities a little more comfortable, because it's the same accommodation that I would make available to someone who has an illness in the family, or some crisis will occur and they might need a little bit of extra time. Again, I'd want to be able to accommodate all the students so that they'll be able to end up learning a little bit more. I do also remind them, though, that not every faculty member is able to be quite so generous. Sometimes people are teaching courses where they really do they need a firm deadline. They might be teaching a large course where they need everyone to turn things in on time, and they're not going to be as flexible about requests for extra time. So I want the students then to be planful and mindful of those limitations on the one hand, but my course will always be one where there can be a little bit more flexibility. So ironically, I say, well, I have a big class, so I can afford to be flexible. I'm not going to be able to grade all the papers the first day that they're due. So because it's going to take us a while to get to them anyway, I can be flexible in accommodating things, up to reasonable limits that students can discuss with me. So I think it's fine. Again, I usually say I'm not making any special accommodations for you. I'm making accommodations for anyone who needs a little bit of extra time to do a little bit of extra learning. I found the Disability Services Office to be a place where it's not just students with, let's say, longer term or more permanent disabilities who need help, but sometimes there are short-term crises that occur with illnesses or injuries or things like that. Someone with a sprained ankle or a sprained wrist or something and can't take notes, or someone who had, what did it happen to one student a few years ago? Something which she had to have eye drops in, and so she was temporarily had some visual impairments, and had to wear sunglasses and couldn't see the board and couldn't follow the classes. All right, but it wasn't going to be permanent. It was only going to be for a few days, I think, or maybe a week or so. But again, that's where that office can be really helpful in making sure there were note takers and people to do some reading for her to keep her up with the readings in different courses. So what's great about it is I think it's been an office that's open to all kinds of students with all kinds of special needs, some of which may be very short-term special needs, and some of which may be more long-term special needs that they can adjust to. And it's great to have those resources around. So we want students to take advantage of those so that they'll be able to learn more. That's the whole goal. And it's great to have it around. So again, it's a resource that we all benefit from.
And how long have you been working with the office for? How long have you known Eileen?
However long the office has been here, many years. I've seen it change over the years too, because I remember years and years ago when we weren't as attentive. Universities weren't as attentive to students with disabilities, and even if we said we'd try to provide these accommodations, but it takes a university a while to get the resources put together. So. So I've seen the changes over the years, and I see how much more, how much easier it is, how many more students are able to take advantage of these services, and I'm delighted about the sort of proactive nature of it, and that everyone feels more comfortable making the right kinds of adjustments. And usually they're easy adjustments to make the learning experience here more productive and more helpful for everyone. Yeah, that's interesting. Probably not too many, but I know there are some. I know, over the years there certainly have been students from other parts of the university, other parts of Harvard University or MIT. I have a number of students every year from MIT, and I always tell them, check if there are any special questions, check with the office here at the School of Education. I'm really proud of the office here, Eileen's expertise in particular, that she'll know she's welcoming to everyone. Doesn't matter where you come from. She'll welcome you in the door, and she'll know where to send you to get it. She'll probably know more about the resources available to you at other schools, or when possible, of course, she'll just provide all the accommodations right here. So whether it's students from Harvard College we've had over the years, students from other parts of Harvard University, other graduate schools, students from MIT, anywhere, she's such a great resource in helping students either make the arrangements themselves with the instructors in their courses, or if they need supports that they should be able to get at their home school, she'll probably know the name of someone that for them to talk to there. That can, again, just ease the initial requests and get people the kinds of supports and help they need. So I'm proud of the fact that I think the office here is one of the great offices, one of the leaders around the university, and student support. That's really what they provide. Yeah, I think some of the professors are very comfortable with that. And they're happy to have you check with them early, check with the professors early, and just let them know. Check with the teaching fellows. The teaching fellows can sometimes be a good bridge between the faculty if it's might be a little intimidating for some students initially before they really know the faculty to approach them directly. But also the office, Eileen's office, can be very helpful there too. She knows which people are the friendliest professors and easy to approach, which people might need a more formal written notification about different kinds of special situations. So I think the office can be really helpful there in negotiating and making people feel comfortable about, again, making the learning environment more conducive to meeting their needs. So I think that's something students should look into. The other reason I think it's important for all students to think about this early and be more aware of the resources in the office is, as a student, even if you don't have any special needs or accommodations you might have, you might know someone who might during the year have some kinds of needs or accommodations that would make their experience here more positive. And so I think all students should know a little bit about that office and what the services are that they provide, because you may be a resource to help someone else get access to some of those services. That it's something everybody ought to be more aware of and stuff like that, and it's become more how it's grown a lot. And I think those kinds of you can call them accommodations. I just think they're just learning support scaffolds for all kinds of students in all kinds of classes. That's the way I think we tend to think about them, and that office has helped the whole school think that way as well. So.